So just about the minute that we arrived into Prickly Bay, Grenada, a hurricane warning came up. All the hurricanes are supposed to go northwest of Grenada, but this particular one had decided that it was going to come due west and directly for us. So Michael, being the great friend that he is, he came back and he helped get the boat ready to either take off to Trinidad, to go south, or to get the mooring ball ready and get the boat ready to be in a big blow. Michael's just that kind of guy. He's so awesome, and he really looks out for me. I'm glad I have him here with me. So the first thing that I wanted to do was get a line from my bow to the base of the mooring, not be relying on the line that connects to the mooring or the line that connects to the ball. You know, I still use this. I still put a whole bunch of lines on the mooring ball line itself, but I also wanted him to go down and connect a line to the mooring. That might give me trouble later on if we were switched directions a lot,
absolutely.
to get tangled up a lot, but I just felt like relying on the top of the mooring would probably work, but was not the best thing to do. So that I'm not relying on the cleats, I think I'm going to bring back this heaviest line to the mast and just take a wrap on the mast.
Okay, good.
But just in case my deck plates aren't strong enough for... So how many times do you have it wrapped around, Mike?
Just twice.
Okay.
2 turns.
And this is just a backup. We're not even, this is nothing that's going to take the brunt of the storm unless we're having a real emergency that like a deck cleat ripped off in the front. The only thing I don't like about it is that if we have to leave in an emergency, we're going to have to cut the line, because there's no way we're going to be able to untie all that in a hurry. I don't even know if there's going to be a way to cut it in a hurry. It's so thick and strong. But let's agree that we don't even try to untie it.
You would probably taking the whole mooring system with us.
Right. Michael worked so hard that day, and yeah, we ended up getting back together again and breaking up again. Yeah, we've got to sort out all that. The wheels, we don't want the wheels to go flying and worse, hit somebody behind us.
Yeah. I mean, if the wind really picks up, it would be in our favor to actually get all of the canisters down.
Yeah.
Take everything that's extraneous up here. Maybe, I don't know what you think, but put fenders on the side, actually.
Already?
On the side.
Yeah, have them all ready to go. That's a good idea.
We're going to lash down the stack pack, get a long line, and just...
Yeah, it might be a little bit overkill, but, you know, better safe than sorry.
I think we're preparing for a hurricane. Just going to lash down the stack pack a little bit and just create less windage on tension, all of that, compress it a little bit, you know, because this is very baggy, and in 50 knots of wind, that's not going to be really good for anything, is it? So if you just tighten it all up.
Okay. Yeah, I could actually get into the filming part.
You should.
Because then I don't have to do the work.
Why do you think I've always gravitated towards the camera?
At this point, I had only been single for a few days before Michael came back, but I was starting to gain more confidence in being on my own. After all, I was in Grenada, and aside from these threatening skies at times, there wasn't a lot more to be nervous about than this. Michael's such a caring guy. We have so much love between us. Yeah, we did end up getting back together at this point for a little while. Yeah, that's much less windage.
Hey?
That's much less windage. I like it, Mike. I like it, Mike. This is our chain locker for our backup anchor. And as you can see, it's got all new anchor chain, 10 mil from Maggie USA. So the same as our primary chain, it's our backup chain as well. Find the end of this to go onto the anchor. Our backup anchor is actually bigger than our primary anchor. So it looks like that would go on the anchor, although a swivel would be better, but in an emergency, I guess it's just to hold you in one direction. So I wouldn't mind seeing a swivel on it. But
We've got a swivel down below.
yeah, but it takes a while to disassemble it and put it onto the, because it's just quick for an emergency to hold you in one direction.
Okay.
So we got
cool.
that end.
So you can flake that out.
Yeah, flake that out, and then it looks like this is the anchor road. That's another. I think we have 50 feet of chain, and I think we have 100 or 150 feet of anchor road. Should be a good backup, but we want to get the backup anchor, which is our Mantis Boss anchor, and put it on the front of the boat so it's ready to drop over. Of course, we'll first use our primary anchor if our mooring line should break, but we'll have our primary anchor ready to go and plenty of road, and then we'll have our backup anchor ready to go as well, just in case. It's probably overkill for this. Michael's gonna flake it out. He's just taking enough chain out of the box. He's gonna put it through the bow roller and on the side of the boat so that I'll show you our anchor in just a bit. That will be able to just drop right over the side if we should, without actually moving.
Grab that outboard of the shrouds. Keep going. Outboard of the shrouds, take it around.
Very nice flaking job, Michael.
Yeah. Well, if it has to run out in a hurry and you put it in one big loop, then it doesn't. This will flake out really quickly and easily without snarling.
Yeah.
So that's all.
So this is our Mantis Boss anchor, and we're gonna get that ready to deploy, just in case, so we don't have to untie a million lines should the need arise. This is really a backup for the backup, but you know me, plan A, plan B, and plan C. As the on again, off again captain, I was thinking we would put this heavy anchor over the bow if we had a problem, but it makes a lot more sense to do it the way that Michael's doing it, with the chain on the side of the boat and the anchor right where it is, so it can just be dropped right over the side and not have to be lifted over things.
So we got the chain running from the end of the anchor outboard, around the stanchions, right up forward to the bow roller, and leading it back aft where it's just loosely tied on. And in an emergency we have to find a place to fasten it, secure it. We don't know where that'll be yet. It depends on what cleats are available, any available strong point that we can tie to.
That right there needs some protection.
Yeah, we'll put protection under everything.
And then we need to tie it over there or something to make sure it doesn't fall overboard when we're rocking madly back and forth. Michael and I survived another few weeks together, or was it another few days? And then I was hauling out, so again, he came back to help again. Believe you me, I know how lucky I am to have him coming back to help me. Okay, now I'm just going to spray it. It's wet. It's getting off like the tops of anything. The sandpaper will get me. So we had a very minor problem with tiny little barnacles, a couple big ones, but tiny little barnacles that here in this like white stuff that scraped off with this very easily. It didn't come off with the pressure washer, but it did come off when we just took this scraper to it. Nothing that would cause any damage to the surface of the paint. But they got that white, those little white dots off. They turned to like powder.
Is it coming off easier?
Well, I'm leaving the flat stuff for the wet sandpaper. This just gets it off, the tall mountains off, so that we don't use a bunch of sandpaper just getting off the top. It's like nothing. This is really the first maintenance besides our monthly scrub downs of the Coppercoat since we put it on a year and 9 months ago. So now we're just using the sandpaper to sort of burnish the surface, to sort of activate some of the copper that's on there.
So what are we doing there?
Just burnishing a bit, getting off the white stuff, i.e. the dried barnacles.
Okay, a little bit more detail.
I don't know.
Well, it's copper coat on an epoxy base, and we're just basically burnishing the top layer off to expose some more copper.
But it really doesn't even need it because it's that beautiful green color, so it doesn't really need anything, and it's working great.
The manufacturer spec is that it does require that. Yeah. What grit are we using? I think that
600
is 600, eh?
Yeah.
And really removing very little, but I think at the same time it might also, the extra layer of slightly smooth may make it a little more difficult for organisms to adhere to it.
Yeah.
So that's the plan anyway. But she's looking really good, huh?
Well, she looked beautiful when she came out. I mean, we scrubbed it every month like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
And, there was always stuff to remove, but it came off really easy.
This that I filmed over here is effectively after a high pressure clean. That's all that we've been left with. I mean, she's had multiple hull cleans under the water, but this is the first haul out since it was applied.
A year and 9 months.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Usually in a year and 9 months, it's time for new bottom paint. I'm so glad we don't have to do new bottom paint. Haul out. We get 5 free days, so we'll stay out for 5 days and twiddle our thumbs for 3 days.
And eat pizza and drink beer.
And eat pizza. And use showers.
Yeah, so we've removed the old zinc. This is what's basically come off of there. The one on the other side was a little bit better. And now I've removed whatever coating was on there. I don't think that was Coppercoat before. I think it was the same as this Propspeed.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was Coppercoat, but I'm not positive.
No, it wasn't. The Coppercoat seems to stop over there.
Okay.
So I'm just giving that a good clean. This is a lovely bronze P bracket. We don't have too many of those in South Africa, I don't think. But then the idea is you put your anode on without paint behind it.
Yeah.
And paint around the side.
So there's a nice tight connection between the zinc and the metal.
And these are still the anodes that the divers put on in Cape Town before we left.
Yeah.
So we're going to leave those, I think. They're still good. The shaft is looking fine. I'm going to give that a clean and then we'll give it another paint as well.
And how about the cutlass bearing? Can you wiggle that at all?
It's perfectly good. Yeah. Stable, solid.
Wiggling the whole boat.
Yeah. The prop has survived beautifully.
Okay, and what are we going to do with the prop before putting it back in the water?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we let, you know, we get ourselves a second opinion on that, but I think it still looks pretty good.
I think it needs some more...
Well, the manufacturer spec is to actually sand it down with an 80 grit, which for this hard composite, whatever it is, I think 80 grit is way too abrasive. But they say you've got to remove it all and then reapply. You know, so that is,
Well, it has been a year and 9 months.
Yeah, I don't mind to do it.
And we have the Propspeed to put it on, so...
So then we put it on.
Yeah.
But the shaft, I think, is more important. That has lost a lot of its protection there. But pretty good. All good. I don't think there's anything of concern here.
Yeah, I don't remember you ever coming up in the last year saying that the prop is horrible.
No, it did pick up a bit here in the
muddy acres, mangroves.
Grenada, a lot more so than in mid-Atlantic and everywhere else. But that's also because we weren't really using it much.
Yeah, we were just sitting for
so it took a light little scrape to get it clean.
And there was a time period that it wasn't really getting clean.
There she goes again.
Quite pleased with the Coppercoat. You know, we did scrub it every month. But you know, it came out a nice, beautiful green, coppery color, just like a penny. And yeah, nothing major. Some barnacles here and there. Paint came off a few spots where we took the barnacles off, but pretty darn good. I think my brick house might just be the prettiest boat in the whole yard. What do you think? I was so glad to have Mike with me in the yard. You know, there's just some things that are just too difficult to do by yourself. It's nice to have somebody you do have to haul and you do have to haul, and then it's not such hard work for anybody in particular. And so it was great to have Mike there. I don't think I've ever had a relationship where we break up and get back together more often, but jeez, how can I refuse a man like this that comes around and helps when there's just nothing in it for him? Or maybe I guess we just both have a lot of hope. Work went into the night on other boats. It quieted down quite early for us. It was so hot that it was hard to work more than a few hours a day without taking a nap.
What are you doing?
I am trying to figure out the last little bits of the liability insurance, signing papers, trying to figure out how to do them on my iPad.
How can you do anything when it's 36 degrees down below?
Because I'm just figuring sweating is the new name of the game. It's hot, hot, hot here.
Okay, I'm going to go and shower, huh?
Can I shower with you?
Yes, you can. But I take a cold shower.
That's the only thing the marina offers is a cold shower.
Will you wash my back?
I'll wash your whole. Michael,
Yeah?
Thanks for being you and having all your very, very perfect imperfections.
I've been working really hard on those imperfections. I've got them honed down to a fine art.
But it's what I like about you.
I thought we were going to interview about what the plan is, where we're going and what we're doing.
No, it's more to tell people that we're back together.
Hijack.
We're happy, mostly.
And where are we?
We're at Spice Island Marine, held out of the water.
Somewhere down there.
You beginners! Oh my God, there's so many of you!
Hello.
Better be careful, one of those might be capable of coming over the back. How could I not want to be with this man? He worked on my boat, and he loved me, and he cared for me for a whole year, and put his all into it. I think both of our hearts went back and forth all summer long. We tried over and over again. We tried to work with each other. We tried to do for each other, and you know, we just both tried so hard. Okay.
So that it has longer curing than in the sun.
Okay. So what we're doing here is the little places where there was really, you know, some tenacious barnacles that kind of lifted the coppercoat right off, seemingly. We are patching those up with epoxy just to make an even surface, and as you can see, there's a few little bubbles on those, so you'll see what we do later to kind of take those bubbles away. But first we're putting on a few levels of epoxy because we probably took that right down to the hull when we sanded, and now we're just building it up with epoxy to make it so there's not dimples.
I've never seen such a neat boatyard job. Look at that. There you go. Whose fault is it? Was it me? Did I did that?
Everything is your fault. Don't you know that by now?
No, it's okay. We'll just give it a light sanding. Otherwise, that's our second coat done. Now we just hope that it doesn't rain. Yeah? Looks like it's going to.
So when the epoxy bubbles a little bit, taking a hairdryer and just putting it a couple seconds on each one takes away those bubbles so very magically. It's getting any less dust off. Michael had to put up with a lot of BS from me, to grieving, to me doubting his abilities, and hence feeling like I wanted to be captain much of the time, even though I had given him the title. We had a lot of ups and downs, and both of us really put in as much as we had in this relationship to make it work. But sometimes, no matter how much both of you want a relationship, no matter how much you both give up to make it work, no matter how much you compromise, and yes, no matter how much love you have for each other, there are some relationships that are for a moment in time, not forever. No, it's not.
Anyway, it's applying.
I think it's wiping it off onto the roller as well.
Well, we're just going to keep doing it with a bit more.
And by the end of the summer, after months of trying our damnedest in Grenada, Michael and I both admitted to ourselves that we were not destined to be forever. Despite the good times and despite the mountain of love we both had for each other, in spite of each other's imperfections and issues, we concluded that love was just not enough. Our core fundamental values were just too different to make a long-term commitment to each other. We would make each other miserable for probably the rest of our lives if we stayed together. Now I'm going to watch paint dry for 48 hours. I'm going to stand here and make sure it dries. Do we have any tape down here?
No. This is a very auspicious day. Oh, look at those beautiful clouds. Do you see that? Look at that. Pink, beautiful storm clouds, thunder, lightning about to come down. So it's Friday evening and it's been a hell of a week. We've been on the hard here in Grenada.
And it's about 100 degrees every day.
It's crazy hot.
And we're just lethargic.
I mean, it's crazy hot.
If we can get like 3 hours of work done a day, we're feeling pretty productive.
3 or 4 hours a day is a good day. But being Friday today, we've had is that the fridge has packed up. We had issues with the freezer before. Now it's the fridge.
Well, we had fridge problems.
That's what we had. We had fridge problems. Now we've got freezer problems.
No, the freezer is fixed and we have fridge problems again.
Either way, what we do have is a big mix of frozen berries that we brought all the way from Cape Town.
South Africa.
We decided, well, we have to actually get rid of this stuff. So we also had a couple of bottles of alcohol that may date back 15 years, some of them.
It took a long time for Patrick and I to finish a bottle of alcohol, but
We've changed that a little bit. So, okay, I just can't believe the color there. I have to interrupt every now and then. That is crazy. So, in order to diminish our load on our fridge freezer, we've decided that we have to make some cocktails with whatever alcohol and frozen berries we have. So, about 2 months ago, I would have been hauled over the coals for that.
it's going to be a permanent state.
I would have been told how I had scarred the boat for life, how I ruined the boat.
It is scarred for life. It's
I was sinking the
definitely
boat.
a red stain on the boat for life.
Yep.
But you know what? It's only a boat.
Jeez, that moon, I hope it's...
Are you going to clean it up
I'll clean it up, damn right I'll clean it up.
tomorrow or
I got
today?
stain remover. You paid for it. So we've had a week with Coppercoat issues. Coppercoat's a bitch. It's a very, very, very good product, but it has a learning curve in terms of mastering it and applying it. And we had issues misreading the formulas in terms of volume versus weight. So we corrected that, but a little bit too late. We had to sand it all down, and we've done that. We've reapplied it with, fortunately, we were able in Grenada. Is that where we are?
That's where we are.
We were able to
Good
get...
thing I'm the navigator.
Yep. Look at those clouds. Okay, back we go again. Look at that. So we had issues with the Coppercoat. We had rain. We put a big skirt around it. We actually did everything in our power to do a good job. Eventually we succeeded. We've done a great job. I believe it's the best possible job we could have done under the circumstances. And then we tackled stripping the propeller, and we've prepared that now for Propspeed. What did I say?
So now it was our final day with the Coppercoat. We finally got it on right, and we just had to burnish it, get it ready like we got the whole boat ready before with Coppercoat. Just a whole lot of sanding with 300 grit paper to get it nice and smooth and expose the copper. Michael doing the final inspection. So by the time this video is released, unless something has changed, Michael will be back with his family and his dog Joshie just in time for Christmas, and we will probably never see each other again. Rebecca will carry on. Michael, thank you, and I'll miss you forever. The rest of my life will be an adventure. I will continue exploring and sailing, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell below if you like this video and want to know when Chapter 3 begins. And please leave a comment below if you have some idea of where I should go next. After all, the world is my oyster.